We are actually here tonight to honor the incredible Dr. Ruby Perry. And I can't tell you how excited this entire event has made me. So I'm going to tell a quick little story that I know even Dr. Perry, I shared it with her son earlier, just warmed my heart. So I had met Dr. Perry years ago at an event, shook her hand. I've always had her in a high standard in my eyes, an amazing human being. And when I had to call and ask her if she'd be willing to be an icon, because she had been voted on by multiple people in the industry as truly the most amazing human being that we could honor, she and I got on the phone. She was a few minutes late and she apologized profusely. But I was so excited. I was completely geeking out. And so my words to her were, just give me a moment because I'm going to fangirl over you. And she did not hear me. And she said, take all the time you need. I fell in love with her and will never fall out of love. That was just the best ever because she had no idea what she had just allowed me to do. So when you think of an icon, we all have different definitions of what an icon truly is. Is it a trailblazer? Is it a hero? In my eyes, an icon is someone who leaves a legacy that the profession will be able to carry on for years and decades beyond. I'm so honored that Dr. Ruby Perry is our icon. Before we bring you to the stage, I do need to know you are part of the new group. So icons are few and far between, but we do have two others in the room, and we have one more coming. But we do have Dr. Mike Kavanaugh, and we do have Dr. Elena Green. So more amongst amazing individuals. I know John Payne is on his way here as well. So if you do see them, we should be putting on their name tag icon moving forward as we do it. So Dr. Perry, I know she told me I didn't have to say that name, but I just think, oh, she's Dr. Perry. So has been truly a trailblazer in this profession. She has paved many firsts, and so that I don't screw them up, I'm going to actually read a few of them. I don't know if many of you know this or not. Okay, yes, she's the dean. We all know that. Okay, so that's not it. But did you know that she was the first alumni to be named the interim and dean of a U.S. veterinary school? Not impressed yet? Wait a second. She was the very first African-American female board-certified veterinary radiologist for the College of Veterinary Radiology. But if that hasn't wowed you enough, this one should. So most recently, she was the very first veterinary alumni to serve as acting president, like the boss of Tuskegee. And for that alone, she is for sure our icon. So that's just a smidge of her background. Like, she's done amazing things. And in carrying on the tradition here at the Bridge Club, where we are people first and we are professionals second, we are so lucky that her son will be interviewing her tonight. So before we get started, though, again, to thank Blue Buffalo, I'm going to ask Dr. Vicki to come on stage, and I want you all to have your glass ready, because you know we start every Bridge Club with a toast. Dr. Vicki.
Hi, good evening. I'm Vicki Carmella from Blue Buffalo, and it is a privilege to be here sponsoring this event tonight. We have loved everything we have done with the Bridge Club. Such an incredible organization. Let's give it up for Kathy, who does that amazing job. When Catherine first came to Blue Buffalo and asked us about sponsoring this event, we started talking about what does an icon mean? And so we looked it up, Karen LaBar and I. We said an icon is someone that is greatly admired for having a positive influence in veterinary medicine. And so tonight, I would just like to toast to all of the incredible icons we see in this room, the folks that Bridge Club has honored previously, Dr. Ruby Perry, and everyone that's here. Thank you for all you do to better veterinary medicine and leave a legacy behind. Cheers. And with that, it is my absolute honor to welcome Dr. Ruby Perry and her son, Mr. Benjamin Felton, to the stage. Thank you so much.
So I got to tell you, I'm a little nervous sitting here with Dr. Perry Your mother to me. That's what I call her. I don't call her mom. I just say mother. So.
And on that thought, mother, I always wonder why you call me mother and all the other two kids call me mom. So was that you trying to be privileged or something for a child? Or something? What's that about? I think it's because I called him Benjamin and he wanted to be called Ben. And I think is it a get back? You get what
That's it. That's it. So we're gonna, Benjamin and mother, we're gonna have just a quaint conversation. Just maybe from my perspective of how I saw you growing up, and myself with my siblings. So let me introduce myself. So I am Benjamin Felton, and I am getting used to saying Benjamin because it sounds so much cooler as you get older, than Ben. Because of the way my mom raised me, I have the privilege of having a role and responsibility as a senior vice president of a large utility company in Michigan. So through the journey that we're going to talk about, she had me in tow through the whole thing, and somehow I managed to turn out pretty well, along with my sister and my brother. So we've got three siblings. So I'm the oldest of three wonderful kids. And this is usually when I will tell a joke to say I'm the favorite. But let me say it this way. My brother and I, when my sister, who's sitting at the table in front of us, was born, we quickly realized that we were down in the pecking order. She was just referred to as pumpkin pie. And at that point, we knew we're just kind of yesterday's needs, right? Just two boys growing up and all. But anyway, enough about me. Let's get into this. So I want to tribute to just the family, right? You, through it all, through everything we're going to talk about, she's still a great mom, right? That's the thing. I mean, I've looked at her my entire life and grew up literally almost in her office.
Yeah.
And it took me quite a while before I really recognized how much of an impact you've had on not only the family, but so many other people out in the world and all. So let's get to some questions. So being a young girl in Tougaloo, Mississippi. Does anybody know where Tougaloo, Mississippi is? Okay. Really small town outside of Jackson. How did you find yourself wanting to become a veterinarian?
I am glad you asked that question because I'm going to reflect a minute. I always wanted to be a mathematician, actually. And I was at Jackson State University and worked my way through college. And when I worked my way through college at Jackson State, I went to work for a veterinarian. And anytime you can work for a veterinarian, you can walk with a veterinarian, and for some reason, you want to become a veterinarian. Now, I don't know how many of you have that kind of story, but it made such an impact on me. I changed my profession for mathematics. And you remember mathematics when all three of my kids sit at the table and get that problem correct. And so to this day, none of my kids are veterinarians. None of them are mathematicians because they said I traumatized them. So my husband and I, who is a veterinarian as well, we didn't do a good job with recruitment. We talk about recruitment. But I have 10 grandchildren to be able to recruit them into the veterinary. Oh, you shaking your head like, no. But I got 10 chances to do so. So that's how I became interested in the veterinary profession. It's because I worked for such a compassionate veterinarian a mentor and an advocate. And I just didn't see any other profession other than that. So I changed my major, went into biology, and got accepted at Tuskegee University. And that was the beginning of that wonderful journey.
Excellent. So can I add a little bit to that story?
Okay, feel free, because you're having a conversation. And remember, this is the only chance you're going to be in control.
I have the mic, and I was told I'm asking the questions.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough.
So the trauma started with this very red book.
Oh, the red book.
The
Oh.
red book. I still remember today. It was the fundamentals of arithmetic.
I still have it.
And each morning, during the summer, mind you, we would wake up thinking that we would go outside and play, but no. You had a series of problems that you had to complete. And did they ever pick the even ones where the answers were in the back of the book? No. They picked the odd ones. And I can just fondly remember so many days of sitting at the table with my mom, trying to understand, why do I care that Jill got on the plane 15 minutes earlier than John? Okay. That's my take on that. But I will say, I did want to be a veterinarian, had great role models up until I would say I was about 16. Sat in many of my mom's classes and thought this is what I want to do. And I think one day I just decided, nope, not going to do that. So I went into business.
So, okay.
All right,
And
quick.
just know that you're going to take care of your dad and I because you're business. When you get older, I got witnesses.
About 102 of yes. So what has been the greatest challenge, or perhaps a challenge you are still wrestling with overcoming as a woman, and particularly a woman of color?
It began when I was intimately involved with desegregation in Mississippi as a woman of color, and saying we've got to pick the best to make the difference, because you might not have but one chance to make that difference. And starting young in high school, desegregation of a high school, I realized the challenges that I had in first just being female. Number two, being a female. Number two, being African American. So it was almost like a double whammy in a good way. In a good way. So those challenges of not being able to get in the doors of opportunities. And so I would always be looking for those because I was trained to do so. Being courageous in environments where you just want to use a few choice words, and I do use those sometimes. But those challenges, I learned from those challenges of not being the best, the one that I know I'm the best, but I wasn't selected as the one for the best. And so I remember an experience that I had at my beloved Michigan State. Go green. Go white. And I wanted to be section chief because I thought I could make a difference. And anything that I do, I take that challenge because I do want to try to make a difference. And so I felt like I wasn't good enough. But I said, give me an opportunity to do so. Let me prove you wrong. And to this day, I have something like that when I'm one of those people who live on the edge. So when I go to the grocery store, I just need to get my foot in the door. It might be 1 minute before closing time, but I'm in. And then when I'm in, that's when I can make the difference. Because in all of those circles, in those worlds, you have a chance to make that difference. And those challenges are still there. You might not be the one. Someone may look at you and say, you might not be the one that's best for the job. And so it's constantly trying to prove yourself to be that. But when you're yourself, Benjamin, as I said to Seth, you said to all of you, is that you can only be who you are to make a difference. You can't be like somebody else, but you be who you are. And with those challenges, I turn those into victories, if I might, into victories of, I can do this. And sometimes we doubt ourselves. And as a woman of color, I do that sometimes. You might think that, oh my gosh, she got going. No, I don't all the time. I don't. Listen, most of the times I don't. But let me just tell you, I'm going to do a great impression going in the beginning. You'll think that I do until, and when I do, you better believe I'm going to make an impact on somebody else. And that's important. And so it's just challenges of when you're turned down and you're not given that opportunity. Just know that that's okay. That's another one. But you keep moving, you keep trying, and you keep moving. And so I see them as challenges and I see them as victories as well, because I'm paving the way for somebody else to come along. And it's just like when, and I know we got just, are you keeping up with time? Benjamin, keep up with time. No, we got to keep up with time. We got to stay on time. Stay on time. Okay. So, anyway, I remember when, and I say this, and I know I have advice at the end, but I remember when I left Tuskegee and went to Michigan State to be, I didn't know, I wanted to be a surgeon. For those of you who surgeons in the room, I really did. I thought that's all I wanted to be. And I remember Pat Laurie came down to Tuskegee and she said, oh, by the way, you're going to Michigan State. Then I thought, okay, now is that an opportunity or is that a death sentence? Because I've been living in the South all of my life. I'm a Southern. And so I said, no, I'm not going. But look what happened. So I went up to Michigan State and the rest is history. So a lot of those opportunities that come my way where I don't feel courageous or confident enough to go on that route. But someone says, but you'll be okay. And sometimes that's all you need, a little nudging, a little, whatever that might be. So anyway, I got some of those.
Good. So I'll tell you how that showed up with me, and I think even my siblings. So this is a bit of my personal story with you. As I shared with you, I watched her grow up, but I didn't fully appreciate. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You watched me grow
I'm sorry. I grew up somewhere in this 52 years. I grew up. So, but as I grew up, let me say it that way.
Okay.
I did not fully appreciate what you had gone through to get to where you were, what you went through to be a great wife, to be a great mom to 3 kids, that are all very successful now. So I have 3 daughters. As a matter of fact, 7 of the 10 grandkids are girls.
Okay.
I have 3 daughters. Very, very passionate about female development in my profession.
Yeah.
So I take that on personally. I'm in the utility space. It's all engineering. And I quite often refer to you as my hero. And that's something that I've become extremely close with. And I'm going to say in probably the last half dozen or so years, because I fully appreciate what you did that's helped me and the rest of the family get to where we are. So I want to thank you for continuing to take on those challenges and push them forward, because not only is it touching me, it's touching the rest of the family, and I'm quite certain, our 100 or so friends in here is touching them as well. So Catherine, I'm pretty good at math now.
Yep, pretty good.
I'm going to save you 20% because she actually just answered 2 questions, but I do have another question for you.
But I also want to say to you, Benjamin, that because you're the first child, I remember I always said to you, when you have whatever space that you're in, don't forget your female leaders,
Yes.
that you pave a way for them, because as an African American male, you have some opportunities that females might not have as well. Not just because you're African American, but in that male space as well. So you can make a difference as well. And for females, that was part of my journey when I was trained by civil rights activists, is that you have to, you be the one. You have to you have to go forward. But why? Why do I have to be the one? It's always the why do I, but who else? But whenever you're moving forward in that space, and I think it's for everybody in this room, is that you can make that difference wherever you are. You don't have to be like anybody else, but you can only be who you are to make that difference. So thank you for making a difference in the world of promoting women into leadership in your company.
Excellent. Okay, the last question. What advice would you give the future generations to inspire them to want to get into this field of veterinary medicine?
Well, I say for those interested in veterinary medicine is try to find a mentor, get someone who can make sure that you get the support that you need on that journey. That's for those who's interested in veterinary medicine. We have pretty much a model for how to do that. And each one of us can also reach out to those who are interested in veterinary medicine. This is part of the recruitment and the pathway. So one, and if for those young people who want to get into this wonderful profession, then they can select or find someone that can help them achieve that goal. Now, in all aspects of the veterinary medicine, which is why we are here and why we chose that one, such a compassionate profession. And it's good to see the changes in the profession over the years, is that we're not very compassionate with each other. And so we're learning how to be more compassionate. We're compassionate with our clients, but we don't do a good job with being compassionate with each other. And so I leave that also with my peers, is that when you see someone that looks like, well, they don't look inclusive, how about saying, let me go over and say hello to that person? Because that was part of my struggle as well, is as an African American, sometimes in some of these spaces, you don't feel comfortable. Wouldn't it be great if someone says, hi, how are you? So we're learning how to do that in this profession as well. And so with being more inclusive, being a sense of belonging, it's for all of us. Because we all are veterinary. No, we're in the veterinary professional space. Wherever you're there. Even your family grew up with that. Because we all are successful because of our families. So we give them credit as well. So I do, and I know you're going to ask me that, but I want to go ahead and leave that with everyone in this room. Is that and I leave this with you, each one of us is a raindrop. Each one of us. When you came into this room, it was really scattered. It's a few. But look at it now. And so you can touch somebody in that raindrop space. And I have so many mentors and advocates here, which is why I'm on this journey. And I said to Annie one day, I said, I'm on this journey until I die. Does it get easier? No. But the journey of making a difference, leaving a legacy, bridging, because there's so many ways that you can bridge. All of those, and you might not do it as well as someone else, but you can only be you. So continue to be you and make a difference with a purpose, intentional purpose, to make our veterinary profession continue to be the very best. I would not have chosen a different journey. And so if you ask me for challenges, I had to learn to be brave, my brothers and my sisters. It doesn't come easy, But sometimes I close my eyes, I say those choice words inside Willie, and I say, come on, let's get going. And it's made such a difference. And whoever I've touched, I'm honored. It's not about me, it's about you and what you bring to my life as well. So thank you for that.
We're ready to take some questions from the audience, but Catherine, if I could, because I know we'll get lost in here. Mom, I want to thank you, Mother, for inviting me to share the stage with you. This is just another reminder of why she's my hero. It's just listening to your story today. So thank you. I really, this has meant a lot to me just to share the stage with you, be able to participate in getting a well-earned award.
And thank you for listening. Thank you for listening to the advice of a mother. Please, thank you.
So with that, what we're going to do is Dr. Cheryl and Shannon are here we've got room for 2 to 3 questions. This is your one opportunity for you to also fangirl or boy girl all over Dr. Ruby. So raise your hand, otherwise we will end with some parting thoughts. So does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Oh, right over here.
Thanks. Andy McCabe with the NAVC. It will be my pleasure to work with Ruby over the coming years as she is the president-elect of our association, and we're looking forward to a wonderful year. This question actually is for Benjamin. Benjamin, we heard a most remarkable story about your family life in Michigan when you were there. And it's my understanding from listening to your mother that after all the children had left the house, they were planning to downsize. Unfortunately, or whatever, some of them returned for an unspecified period of time. That it seems that Ruby decided to specify by saying, we're moving from a 4-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house, and there's only 3 people moving. Can you elaborate on that?
So, I think that's where that math lesson comes in. That was clearly a subtraction of the amount of guests that were going to the new home and all. But I'll tell you what it's done for me. I now have a rule with my kids. 24. Simple as that. You can come in and out as many times, but 24, that's it. You have to be on your own. So, but yes.
But you grew up.
I grew up.
And so did that middle one.
Yeah.
And how long did it take him to get out when all the lights went off, the telephone went off?
Literally moved all the furniture out.
And he grew up as well.
Yes.
But the love was still there.
Yes.
The love was still there. Oh my, come in, I give you a hug. I can help you. I can pay your first month's rent.
But no, someone else is moving into this place tomorrow.
All right, Benjamin, is that 24 years or 24 times? 24. But that's not really the question. I mean, Ruby, one of the things that's always impressed me about you is your very positive attitude about life and about this profession. And we're entering an age where all the headlines seem to be crisis, bad this, bad that. And we're trying to, it's kind of like, this profession stinks, join us. I don't know. It just sort of seems that way sometimes in the headlines. How have you maintained such a positive attitude, and how would you suggest that all of us keep that positivity going so that we truly can recruit and retain people to the best profession on the planet?
I think the first thing I do is think about, first of all, acknowledge that it's a problem. Let me just say that. I acknowledge that while this is either it's a crisis or it's a problem, it's a challenge that seems to be so monumental that I just can't do anything about it. Then I may step away from it for a moment. But I know in my mind that I've got to do something. And once I say I've got it, I'm not sure what it might be. And I don't have the answer to it right then, but I know, and that's how I was taught during civil rights activists, is that you might not know what that is to make the difference, but you know you got to go on that journey. Nobody, you're the one who has to make that difference. And so I try to be as courageous as I can and go full speed ahead. Believe it or not, you'll find that when you take the lead, that others are waiting and they will follow. And you go back and go, wow, there's a lot of folk on this journey. But it just somebody else was waiting for you, for me, to just step forward. And I have to be brave to do that. If that is what I'm committed to and want to make a difference. And I enjoy it. My father's a mechanic, so I enjoy putting things together. I enjoy figuring it out, and I enjoy finding somebody who can help me make that change. And it starts with a conversation, and it's sometimes a very difficult conversations. And my journey at Michigan State there for 20-something years, you think y'all said, "Come on, Ruby, come on." No. That was a difficult, in the beginning, it was difficult. There were people there who said to me, "You don't belong here." Just watch me. Yes, I did. So, but everybody's not like that. Everybody's not like that. How can I share what I might be more courageous or maybe even do something better? Then come on, we're going together. We're going to do it together because none of us is in a vacuum alone. Somebody's helped you somewhere. So, but once you know that you've got to be a part of it, then you make those steps moving forward.
We know how important the bar is, so I'm going to just do this really quick and allow us to have Dr. Perry give us her parting thoughts of something you haven't said that you wish you would share this evening. And I just personally really want to thank Dr. Perry and Benjamin so much and your entire family for being here. Not the entire family, I think we're missing a few, but I just really am appreciative that the family is here as well and for all of you being here. But Dr. Perry, any final parting thoughts?
I want to thank the Bridge Club, which I knew about them in Michigan, but the idea of bridging with professionals, that's part of their journey as well for each of us in the veterinary profession as well. A pathway for somebody to be better, to be able to have an opportunity, etc. That's what. So I want to thank the Bridge Club for that. I also want to thank Blue Buffalo and NAVC for sponsoring this. You just don't know how humble I am, because I'm one of those people who, if you come to me with something, I say, "Oh, let's do this. We can do this," and I enjoy that. And so, if there's something that you want me to go with you, gladly. So I want to thank all of you. Let me introduce my family. My family, will you all please stand? My family. My husband is a veterinarian, FSIS, Mr. Felton, and my youngest daughter, Christina Felton. And of course, you met Benjamin and his wife, Penny, who is my daughter. And my middle son, Winston II, who is not here, who is in Cambridge, England, and a nurse. So all of my children are in some service-oriented veterinary profession, because they got that growing up. It said you got to give, you got to serve your community. And I want to thank all of you, because all of you have been an advocate or a champion for me. And I just want to make all of you proud, because I'm going to give back, and I'm going to speak on anytime I can to make a difference somewhere. I will do that until I die. So that is something that my mother told me as well. You're on this journey till you pass, till you die. So I will, and I don't plan. I do plan on. We all gonna die on a hill or on a plateau. But just know, I mean, if you really look at your own life, what is it that you're leaving? It doesn't have to be a huge monumental something that some of you all have achieved. It could be something really small, but leave something. Leave a nugget. Leave a nugget. And with that, thank you all so much.